What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. If you are not subscribed to the channel, now would be a great time. Hit that subscribe button. Things are heating up. I want to talk about some things in this video, but I'm about to start dropping some heat. There's a lot of good things to be excited for in the world of boxing. Now, this is very interesting, and I want to break down the situation. Triple G, Cotto, Canelo. They're like the big three. And a while ago, before Cotto and Gil, I made a video on the channel. Check that out if you want some more insight on that particular video. And I said this would be great to see them guys fight, like a round robin style between those guys, because they're all respected names and or big names in the sport of boxing. So the current situation is Team Golovkin, Triple G's team. Tom Loeffler has said that. Actually, let me back it up, and I'm going to start from the beginning. Miguel Cotto beat Sergio Martinez, became the lineal middleweight champion, right? With that comes responsibilities. You have people in line to face you. Like at the time, I think Marco Antonio Rubio was the mandatory for Miguel Cotto. But Triple G fought Marco Antonio Rubio. Triple G annihilated him, and he became the mandatory to Cotto's belts. So Miguel Cotto dodged a bullet by not having to even fight Marco Antonio Rubio. Triple G handled that and then stepped in and became the mandatory positioning for Cotto's belts. So Triple G is a champion at middleweight, and the lineal middleweight champion is Cotto. So we're all caught up to speed. Now, from that point, you have an obligation as a champion to defend your title as long as you're healthy, and there's certain little things, and I don't want to get too far off, but there's certain things you could do to file extensions with the sanctioning body, yada, 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 or if like you're injured or something, you might be able to buy some time. But we all know Miguel Cotto just fought Daniel Gil. He looked healthy. He looked sensational, very sharp in that performance. That was a fight that Gil, I mean, truth be told, I already said this in the previous video. Gil didn't earn that fight. Triple G ran through him in 2014 last year. He had one comeback fight against Jared Fletcher, who was off of a knockout to Danny Jacobs, and they fought. He went the decision with him, and Cotto picked him. He's with the new deal. He took that fight for whatever reason, but Gil wasn't in a position to, like, he wasn't ranked or something at middleweight to have earned that shot. But for whatever reason, Cotto fought Gil and annihilated him. So we're all caught up to speed. Now, the problem with that is Triple G and his team, they're getting impatient. They want a shot at Cotto. They want unification fights. They want what they beat Rubio for, the mandatory positioning. They want to start proving their worth, the better names. Triple G's not getting any younger, etc. So they've been putting the heat on, a lot of pressure to fight Miguel Cotto, because at the moment, he hasn't vacated. He is the man in charge. He is the man holding all of that middleweight hardware. That Triple G, a lot of people consider him already the best middleweight, right? I think even Max Kellerman said it. And Miguel Cotto said it. He said, I'm not a true middleweight post-fight versus Daniel Gil. So what Triple G is doing, now that we're all caught up to speed, Triple G and his team, they want, because as you guys know, the rumor is that Cotto and Canelo will be facing. Now, you have to, basically this is the situation. Triple G is in line to have to fight Cotto, right? Now, Cotto, per the rules, should have to fight Triple G or vacate his title. But what Team Golovkin is saying is we'll step aside only for a guarantee. Only if you guarantee us that we get the winner of that particular fight. Now, I don't know exactly how that would work, because let's say Cotto is the man, he's the champion. Let's say Cotto fights Canelo, and then for some reason Canelo wins. Then I don't know how they could push, if you will. Like, I understand if you hardball Cotto and he wins because he was the champion before and after, hypothetically, if he beats Canelo. But I don't see how they could make Canelo fight Triple G. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly how that would work. And this is the other thing. Boxing has a lot of politics. So the A-list stars, the big stars in the sport, sometimes get special treatment. Like if you look at Chris Algieri, not a big star, he beat Ruslan Provodnikov via split decision. And within 6 months, he got stripped of his title. Stripped. You're like, oh, you're fighting Pacquiao? Fuck you. And they stripped him, right? Versus there's other people like Mayweather, who's an A-list star. He got a title versus Canelo, and he hasn't fought a 154 pounder since then. And I don't know if he relinquished it or whatever, but he still had the title for a while, even though he wasn't fighting 154 pounders. And they even made an exception and let him fight Maidana in the rematch and put his 154-pound title up for grabs. So they consider that a title defense, even though Maidana's not a 154 pounder. And it's not just Mayweather. This is with Canelo, Pacquiao, all the special A-list stars, Cotto. I mean, Cotto just fought for a title at a catchweight. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even, it was a voluntary defense. It wasn't even something that nobody that I know of was requesting. Oh, you know what fight I would want to see? I want Cotto versus Daniel Gill after Gill got knocked out last year. Nobody was requesting it. So again, it's not just Mayweather. It's all the A-list, A-side celebrity boxers. Sometimes they get special treatment. So I don't know exactly how this would work, but I do like the motion from Team Golovkin, and they're kind of putting the pressure on, saying, hey, yeah, we'll step aside, probably get paid a portion for stepping aside, and we want to fight the winner of Canelo Cotto. And at this point, Triple G, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. Still has more to prove, and that's what he's trying to do. So you can't really knock him for that. He's staying active, doing the best he could, calling these guys out, saying he wants to fight them, etc. But he doesn't have the leverage of Cotto versus Canelo. Like, that's just a huge mega fight. So I really feel like the commission, the sanctioning bodies will probably make exceptions for that, because it's a colossal fight. It's like Mayweather versus Pacquiao Jr. You know what I mean? It's a fight that is good for boxing. You know what I mean? Canelo versus Cotto is good for boxing. So at the moment, Triple G, in my opinion, based on a leverage aspect, not who wins. I'm not saying, because I really think Triple G beats Cotto. That's my opinion. But I'm talking about from a leverage perspective. He doesn't really have much leverage, because Canelo is arguably a bigger star than Triple G. I mean, I don't even know if it's arguable, because Triple G did like $1 million and some change in his last fight. And then Canelo fought James Kirkland, and that averaged like 2.3 million views and had very high ratings. I think the highest since like 1996 or 2006, something like that. So again, from a leverage perspective, I don't think Triple G has much leverage. So I like this. I like this notion. Like, I'll step aside only if you're gonna fight me after. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to play hardball with the A-side celebrities. Because Cotto, I feel like he's gonna have to be backed up to fight. I don't think he wants to fight Triple G. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think he wants to fight him. So it's going to take some negotiation tactics like this to corral him and get that kind of fight going, in my opinion. That's what I see from the situation. So when you don't have this quote-unquote A-side leverage, like when Cotto was fighting Martinez, and see, this is the thing. A lot of people get mad when they're like, oh, A-side. These are certain facts. There's certain things in this world that just are. You can't really explain it. Nobody said it was fair. It's just, it is what it is, and it's accepted. We know it. You know what I'm saying? We know this is the case. So I'm not saying A-side, like I love this, or this is what I condone, like A-side diva or negotiating tactics where the A-side commands. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you this is a reality in boxing. So when Cotto was fighting Sergio Martinez, even though Martinez was the lineal middleweight champion, he had to pretty much succumb to Cotto, who is the bigger star's wishes. The fight was at a catchweight. I'm pretty sure Sergio Martinez didn't say, you know what, he's been fighting bigger dudes. Martinez fought bigger dudes, like Chavez Jr.'s big ass. So I doubt Martinez said, you know what, let's have this at a catchweight of 159 instead of 160. So you know that came from Cotto. I don't think Sergio Martinez was like, my name has to be first. And if he did, it was probably because he's lineal middleweight champion. Cotto was the one that wanted these negotiations or these things written into the contract. Who comes out second, whose name is billed first, etc., etc. So this is just the way of the world. And I'm just trying to give you guys some clarification and insight as to how boxing works. So again, from a leverage perspective, I don't see Team Golovkin having as much in the situation, maybe with other fighters, William Rose and stuff like that, but with Cotto and Canelo, two powerhouses, then he kind of loses some of that leverage. So I like this negotiating tactic, saying, hey, we'll step aside if you cash us out and we get to fight the winner of that fight, because you already had your voluntary defense that no one asked for versus Daniel Gill, and it should be our turn. We should be next in line. So if we're not going to be next in line, then you need to get this out of the way, this blockbuster fight, and we need to fight the winner of that. You know what I'm saying? So I like the move. Let me know what you guys think. Cotto, Canelo, Triple G. Will all three of those guys mix it up with each other and fight each other? Or do you think it'll just be Canelo Cotto? Do you even see Canelo Cotto happening? Drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.